Every election cycle, I'm faced with the same people saying the same thing, that voting don't matter. And if voting doesn't matter, let me ask you this question, and I want you to be 100 with me. Keep it real. If voting didn't matter, why would they try to stop you from voting? Have you heard of Crystal Mason? Crystal Mason is a sister who voted back in 2016. Turns out it was the worst thing she could have ever done, because in Texas, if you are a convicted felon, no matter what it's for, a white-collar crime, doing taxes, Crystal Mason wasn't allowed to vote, but she didn't know that. So she was released, she's on probation, she votes with a provisional ballot that was not counted. Why? Because she wasn't even a registered voter. So the vote didn't go anywhere. They hit this woman with 6 years in jail. They convicted her of voter fraud. It took Crystal years fighting this case to avoid going back to prison. Here's Crystal Mason telling her story in her own words.
Okay, got it.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. It's been a long journey. Started in 2016 for filling out a provisional ballot that never counted. 2017, I was convicted I was charged with illegally voting. And in 2018, I was convicted to 5 years. I've been out now for 6 years, over 6 years on the appeal bond, fighting to stay free. And yesterday, I finally got that news that I was acquitted from all charges. I was overwhelmed with joy. I'm so grateful that God carried me through this journey. I thank you all for all the people that supported me during this journey. I want to give thanks to my pastor, Freddie Haynes, my church, Friendship West, all my attorneys, Attorney Kim T. Cole, Attorney Allison Grinter, Allen, Attorney Justin Moore, ACLU, Texas Civil Rights, everybody that supported me on this journey. It's been a long time coming. I'm so grateful. I'm so humbly grateful. And I knew victory would be the outcome. And I'm just so glad that the judges did the right thing. And again, I just ask you to keep me in your prayers and keep my family uplifted, because again, I'm just overwhelmed, trying not to cry. And thank you. Thank you.
I can feel this woman's pain and anguish after going through this horrific experience. And I'm happy that she was finally relieved of it and can put it behind her. But that doesn't change the fact of what happened. They tortured this woman with political motivated charges in order to deter other people from voting. You know, that thing that people say, don't matter if you do it or not. Now, it doesn't matter if you do it or not, because you made your mind up that it doesn't matter. But to them people, it matters. These types of laws that are discriminatory, that try to limit who can vote, they impact Black people and Hispanics more than anybody else. Let's take a look at the statistics from the Sentencing Project that shows that Texas leads the country in disenfranchising voters. We're talking almost 500,000, 450,000 individuals, or 2.5% of the state's voting age population, with about 2/3 of those people, what are they? Black and Latino. How negative this is on voters. How this can negatively impact people who are deciding if they're going to vote or if they're not going to vote, and the way that they look at voting. I mean, this is a hard story we're talking about. And you got to ask yourself, you say, what is it about voting or taking away someone's vote that's going to somehow help society? And a lot of these laws are based on incarceration, if you have a criminal record. Now, America is the mass incarcerator of the world. 5% of the world's population, we have 20% of the world's prison population. So we are the people that love locking up our citizens. And then we're going to disenfranchise them for being locked up too? I'm not telling you to be a conspiracy nut, but I am telling you to think about it. Do you really believe that all that incarceration is to make you safer? I don't. And do you really believe when they take away your voting rights, they're doing it to make us more free? I don't. And when we talk about voting, we're not just talking about presidential elections. We're talking about local elections like state elections, sheriffs, judges, comptrollers. These things matter and impact your daily life. Why would you want to take those rights away? You want to take them away if you want to control the people, if you want power over who gets elected. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. And still people say, Tim, voting ain't that important. I want you to know, in most states, they're not like Texas. Most states, when you get out of jail, you can vote right away. They don't play games. And in Maine and Vermont, I think it's Maine and Vermont, I know it's at least 2 states where even people that are incarcerated, while they're actually in prison, they can still vote. Am I right about that, Aisha?
Oh, Tim Black, you're such a king. You're so smart. Look, you are absolutely correct, my brother. There are 2 states in the United States where all prisoners, regardless of their convictions, have the right to vote. That's Maine and Vermont. So you are absolutely correct. Hey, y'all subscribe to this channel right now, please. Stop playing with us.
Aisha, I appreciate you. That's my people right there. Just imagine going to jail to vote. Can you imagine that? So look, a lot of other people get disenfranchised because they're not exactly sure. Then they hear horror stories like this where somebody actually went to jail for voting. Just imagine getting locked up because you cast a ballot for Joe Biden. What you gonna tell your inmates? What you gonna tell them when you get there? Like, you ain't here for Biden? There's a lot of dumb things you could do. Playing with an electrical outlet with a screwdriver, barbecuing indoors, or going to jail for voting for Joe Biden or Donald Trump. Yeah, that right there. The Crystal Mason story is a difficult story. It's a horrifying story. Imagine getting locked up for voting. Now, she didn't get locked up. She'd been fighting it, but she had resources to fight it. Somebody may have taken a plea deal. I don't know. I haven't looked it up. Maybe there have been people that have taken plea deals behind this same thing. That's crazy to me. All I'm saying is, folks, this disenfranchising voters, just the idea that somebody could go to jail for voting, I think that is unconstitutional, undemocratic, and straight up corruption. And I think it benefits those state legislators that are run by who? Mostly Republicans. Trying to stop who? If you're using incarceration rates, you know who that is going to favor. It's going to favor Republicans. It's going to favor white voters. And who will it impact more? Black voters. And next on the totem pole, Latino voters, non-whites. All right. Now, I'm sure there's some people watching. I might not change your opinion. You still feel the way you feel. That's fine. I understand that. But all I'm asking is that you weigh it. You consider it. Let it flow around in your head a little bit. Look at it a different way. Because what I know about America is when they don't want us to do something, it's very rarely to our benefit. You understand what I'm saying? Whether it be seek information, whether it be use your First Amendment rights, your Second Amendment rights, and definitely your right to vote.